Good evening, London. Allow me first to apologize for this.
The emergency channel!
I do, like many of you, appreciate the comforts of the everyday routine, the security of the familiar, the tranquility of repetition.
Bloody hell.
I enjoy them as much as any bloke. But in the spirit of commemoration,
Who's that, Mum?
whereby those important events of the past, usually associated with someone's death or the end of some awful bloody struggle, are celebrated with a nice holiday, I thought we could mark this November the 5th, a day that is sadly no longer remembered, by taking some time out of our daily lives to sit down and have a little chat. There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak.
Let me think, just let me
I
think.
suspect even now, orders are being shouted into telephones, and men with guns will soon be on their way.
It's Chancellor Sutler.
Damn it!
Why? Because while the truncheon may be used in lieu of conversation, words will always retain their power. Words offer the means to meaning, and for those who will listen, the enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this country, isn't there?
You designed it, sir. You wanted it foolproof. You told me every television in London.
Cruelty and injustice, intolerance and oppression. And where once you had the freedom to object, to think and speak as you saw fit, you now have censors and systems of surveillance coercing your conformity and
Cameras.
soliciting your submission.
We need cameras.
How did this happen? Who's to blame? Well, certainly there are those who are more responsible than others, and they will be held accountable. But again, truth be told, if you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror. I know why you did it. I know you were afraid. Who wouldn't be? War, terror, disease. There were a myriad of problems which conspired to corrupt your reason and rob you of your common sense. Fear got the best of you, and in your panic you turned to the now High Chancellor Adam Sutler. He promised you order, he promised you peace, and all he demanded in return was your silent, obedient consent.
Inspector, you're almost through.
Last night, I sought to end that silence. Last night, I destroyed the Old Bailey to remind this country of what it has forgotten. More than 400 years ago, a great citizen wished to embed the 5th of November forever in our memory. His hope was to remind the world that fairness, justice, and freedom are more than words. They are perspectives. So if you've seen nothing, if the crimes of this government remain unknown to you, then I would suggest that you allow the 5th of November to pass unmarked. But if you see what I see, if you feel as I feel, and if you would seek as I seek, then I ask you to stand beside me 1 year from tonight, outside the gates of Parliament. And together we shall give them a 5th of November that shall never, ever be forgotten.
Looking for a fast way to track what's moving online right now? Head over to Qnotables.com. It's a centralized index of notable clips, headlines, and references being shared across the community, organized for quick browsing. Use it to spot patterns, pull links, and build your own research list. Qnotables.com. Browse the notables, verify the facts, stay informed. All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here. From the Q Research Board's May 16th, 2026. Good morning. This is Qnotables 4 a.m. Talking Points Live. We begin with President Trump's return from China, a major Boeing deal, a shifting global map, and new pressure on Iran, Europe, and the old order in Washington. From trade to troops, from election integrity to foreign threats, tonight's show is about power changing hands in real time. Top story: Trump returns from China. President Trump returned from his China trip and spoke to reporters about trade, Iran, Taiwan, manufacturing, and America's position in the world. The message was direct. America is reasserting itself on the world stage while bringing major economic deals back home. Trump framed the trip as a win for American workers, American industry, and American leverage. The administration is showing that foreign policy, trade policy, and national security are all moving together under one America First strategy. China has agreed to buy a large new package of Boeing aircraft, with the deal potentially reaching as many as 750 planes. That is not just a win for Boeing. It is a win for American manufacturing, American aviation, and the supply chain that supports it. General Electric could also benefit through aircraft engine orders. After years of watching American industry get squeezed, this deal puts U.S. production back at the center of a major global transaction. President Trump also said U.S. troop reductions in Europe will go beyond Germany. Washington is cutting deeper than the first announced number, and that means Europe is being pushed to carry more of its own defense burden. The message to NATO is simple. The days of America footing the bill while Europe lectures from the sidelines are coming to an end. The United States is still strong, but strength now comes with accountability. President Trump says time is running out for Iran, while China's President Xi Jinping has offered to help reduce tensions. Trump made clear that America does not need favors, but China's role matters because Beijing has influence with Tehran and a major interest in keeping global energy routes stable. Iran is facing pressure from multiple directions, and the administration is putting the regime on notice that delay tactics will not work forever. Domestic politics. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has sent letters to more than 130 Texas cities, warning them not to illegally raise property taxes after failing to meet transparency requirements. Paxton says the review covered more than 1,000 municipalities, and the message is that local governments cannot hide tax hikes from the people who pay the bills. This is the kind of basic accountability taxpayers have been demanding for years. Virginia's new assault weapons ban has triggered fast legal action from gun rights advocates, with Harmeet, Dhillon, and others moving into the fight. The lawsuits challenge restrictions on firearms and magazines, setting up another major Second Amendment battle. This is not just about Virginia. This is about whether states can keep passing sweeping gun restrictions while ignoring the constitutional rights of law-abiding Americans. The Justice Department says Yale School of Medicine discriminated based on race in admissions. Federal officials say a civil rights investigation found unlawful racial preferences in the admissions process. Yale says it is reviewing the findings, but the issue is bigger than one school. Elite institutions are now being forced to answer for systems that rewarded identity politics over equal treatment under the law. Texas Children's Hospital has agreed to create what officials call the nation's first detransition clinic as part of a settlement with Texas and the Justice Department. The agreement includes a $10 million payment and new restrictions tied to prohibited gender transition treatments for minors. This marks a major shift in the medical and legal fight over children, parental rights, and accountability inside powerful hospital systems. A new media controversy is raising questions about billionaire influence over journalism. Wealthy tech donors have helped fund newsroom positions and media operations, and the public deserves to know who is paying the bills. When outside billionaires bankroll the people who shape public opinion, transparency is not optional. It is basic honesty. Congressman Pat Harrigan is pushing military right-to-repair reforms, arguing that defense contractors should not be able to lock the military into overpriced repairs and replacement parts. Supporters say troops should be able to fix equipment faster, cheaper, and without waiting on contractor-controlled systems. This is about readiness, waste, and breaking the grip of defense contractors over basic maintenance. Chelsea Handler's past comments about attending a dinner at Jeffrey Epstein's home have resurfaced online. The renewed attention comes as public interest in Epstein's network remains high. Americans still want answers about the celebrities, politicians, academics, and media figures who had contact with Epstein before and after his conviction. The public has not forgotten, and the questions are not going away. Senator Ron Johnson is pressing new questions about COVID vaccine injury reporting and what federal health officials knew about safety signals. Johnson says the media failed to seriously investigate the issue while agencies defended the broader vaccine program. The senator is demanding answers for Americans who believe their injuries were ignored, minimized, or buried by institutions that were supposed to protect them.
At shop.isitwaya.com, everything you buy supports Akun.top, the place where people talk freely no matter what. Check out our Akun Honey Pot, a jar of yummy honey that's as strong as your voice. Put it on toaster and tea. It's not just honey, it's freedom in every bite. Then there's Akun Butter, a smooth handmade skin cream that makes you feel good while you fight for what's right. Awesome wooden pieces for display only. Hang them up or set them out. They're for showing off a coon's tough spirit. Want to help even more? Get a proto membership. So go to shop.isitwhatya.com now and grab some goodies. Help a-coon.top keep free speech alive, and let's keep the ideas flowing loud and free.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here. From the Q Research Boards, May 16, 2026. Election integrity. Colorado Governor Jared Polis has commuted Tina Peters' sentence, cutting the former Mesa County Clerk's prison term and making her eligible for parole on June 1st. Peters became a national symbol in the election integrity fight, and her case drew major attention from President Trump and his supporters. Polis said the sentence was too harsh for a nonviolent first-time offender, and the decision now sends Peters toward release. President Trump repeatedly called for Tina Peters' release, posting "Free Tina" and turning her case into a national issue. Peters' supporters saw her as a woman punished for challenging the election system, and Trump's pressure campaign kept her name in the spotlight. The commutation shows that sustained public pressure can still move the needle. General Michael Flynn publicly celebrated the news of Tina Peters' coming release, telling supporters that she was coming home to a nation that had not forgotten her. Flynn's message captured how Peters' case became more than a Colorado legal fight. It became a rallying point for Americans who believe election officials, whistleblowers, and system critics have been treated unfairly. Marc Elias reacted sharply to the Tina Peters commutation, showing how polarizing this case remains. Elias has been one of the most visible Democrat election lawyers in the country, and his reaction proves that Peters' release hits a nerve. For one side, this case was about system security. For the other, it was about punishment, pressure, and election transparency. The U.S. Supreme Court rejected Virginia's request to restore a congressional map that could have helped Democrats gain House seats. The decision leaves the existing district lines in place for 2026 and marks another major ruling in the national fight over redistricting and House control. Every district matters, and the courts are playing a central role in shaping the next Congress. Tennessee Democrat Steve Cohen says he will not seek re-election after Republican-led redistricting reshaped his Memphis area district. Cohen has represented the area for nearly 2 decades, but the new map split Shelby County and changed the political math. His exit is another sign that redistricting is reshaping the battlefield before voters even get to the polls. Democrats are facing a growing redistricting problem heading into the next election cycle. Court rulings, state-level map changes, and population shifts tied to the 2030 census could reshape House control for years. Republicans are using state power, legal wins, and demographic trends to build an advantage, while Democrats are trying to find a counter-strategy before the map hardens against them. In Oregon, former NBA player and Republican Chris Dudley is emerging as a serious challenger to Democratic Governor Tina Kotek. A new poll shows Dudley with an early lead, giving Republicans a reason to watch Oregon closely. Oregon has long been treated as safe blue territory, but rising frustration over crime, cost of living, homelessness, and governance could make the governor's race far more competitive. International conflict. U.S. and Nigerian forces have eliminated Abu Bilal al-Minuki, described by officials as a senior ISIS leader and one of the most active terrorist figures in the world. The joint operation took place in Nigeria and was praised as a major counterterrorism success. The message is clear. Terrorist leaders can run, but when American and allied forces are allowed to act, they can still be found and removed. Federal authorities stopped an ISIS-inspired plot targeting a U.S. Army facility in Michigan. Prosecutors accused a former Michigan Army National Guard member of helping plan a mass shooting at the Detroit Arsenal. Officials say the suspect provided surveillance support and ammunition guidance before the FBI moved in. This was a direct threat against American troops on American soil. Federal prosecutors have charged Iraqi national Mohammed Bakr Saad Dawood al-Sadi, accused of helping coordinate nearly 20 terror attacks or attempted attacks tied to Iran-backed militia activity. Authorities say the plots targeted Jewish, Israeli, and American interests in the United States, Europe, and Canada. This case exposes the reach of Iranian proxy networks and the threat they pose far beyond the Middle East. The Justice Department says it will seek the death penalty against Elias Rodriguez, the man accused of killing 2 Israeli embassy staffers outside a Jewish museum in Washington, D.C. Prosecutors say the attack was planned, targeted, and tied to hate crime charges. The case has become a major test of how seriously the justice system will respond to political and anti-Semitic violence in the nation's capital.
Every voice matters. The power of free speech is more important than ever. Imagine a place where you can share your thoughts freely, explore new ideas, and engage in meaningful conversations anonymously. With online anonymity, you can express yourself without fear of judgment. It's about freedom, creativity, and connection. Join the conversation that matters. Embrace your voice. Celebrate your freedom. Visit 8kun.top today. That's 8kun.top.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Boards, May 16, 2026, CIA Director John Ratcliffe traveled to Havana and met with Cuban officials, including Raul Castro's grandson. The visit marked a rare high-level U.S. intelligence meeting on Cuban soil. The discussions centered on security, intelligence cooperation, economic stability, and Cuba's role as a haven for U.S. adversaries. Havana remains strategically important because Cuba sits close to America while maintaining ties to regimes hostile to U.S. interests. Canada is facing new pressure over a secret policing agreement involving the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and Chinese authorities. Members of Parliament have demanded the full text, while the government has refused to release it. The issue goes straight to sovereignty. Canadians deserve to know what their government signed with Beijing and whether Chinese authorities were given access, influence, or cooperation inside Canada's law enforcement system. Russian President Vladimir Putin is preparing to visit China for talks with Xi Jinping shortly after President Trump's own trip to Beijing. The timing highlights China's growing diplomatic role as Washington, Moscow, and Beijing all compete for leverage. The world is realigning, and China is positioning itself as a power broker between rivals, energy suppliers, and military blocs. A $13 billion Commonwealth LNG project in Louisiana has received the green light, adding major momentum to America's liquefied natural gas export capacity. The project strengthens the Gulf Coast's role in U.S. energy exports and helps meet long-term global demand. Energy is not just an economic issue. It is a national security issue, and American LNG gives allies an alternative to hostile suppliers. Denmark has canceled a major missile-related contract tied to a Ukrainian-linked defense supplier. The move comes as European governments continue reviewing defense spending, weapons deals, and accountability around military contracts connected to the war in Ukraine. Taxpayers across the West are demanding to know where the money is going, who is benefiting, and whether the contracts are serving national interests. Reports from Christian persecution monitors say Nigerian Christians continue to face deadly attacks from armed militants, including recent killings in Plateau State. The violence is part of a long-running security crisis in Nigeria's Middle Belt, where Christian farming communities remain under threat. The world often looks away, but these communities are facing slaughter, displacement, and silence from international institutions that claim to care about human rights. Crime and justice. President Trump is preparing a major $1.7 billion weaponization fund for Americans who say they were targeted by the Biden-era federal system. The fund could include political defendants, allies, and others who say they were mistreated by federal agencies. This would be a major attempt to put money behind accountability and restitution for people who believe the justice system was used against them. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro is announcing a tougher response to violent and chaotic teen takeovers in Washington, D.C. Her office says parents may now face consequences if their children repeatedly violate curfew laws or participate in dangerous public disorder. The message is that lawlessness will not be excused because the offenders are young, and parents will not be allowed to ignore repeated chaos. Jeanine Pirro is also pointing to major crime reductions in the nation's capital, including sharp drops in homicides, carjackings, and robberies. Her message is that stronger prosecution, federal support, and visible enforcement are changing the public safety picture in Washington, D.C. After years of excuses, the numbers are being used to show that enforcement still works when leaders decide to use it. Tech and accountability. The technology and media story tonight is about control. From billionaire-funded journalism to military repair monopolies, from aircraft manufacturing to global intelligence, the same question keeps showing up: who owns the system, who benefits from it, and who is finally being forced to answer? Whether it is the press, the defense industry, elite universities, or foreign governments, the pressure is moving toward transparency. Closing segment. That is the thread running through tonight's show. Trump returns from China with trade and leverage. Europe is being told to pay its share. Iran is being boxed in. Terror networks are being hunted. Election integrity cases are back in the spotlight. Redistricting is changing the political map. The courts, the Justice Department, state attorneys general, and public pressure are all moving at once. The old system counted on people forgetting, but the public is not forgetting. They are watching the deals, the maps, the courts, the contracts, the media money, and the names attached to every decision. Stay alert, stay grounded, and keep digging. Share the show, subscribe, and help get this information in front of people who still care about truth, accountability, and the future of the country.
Don'tDeleteMeBro.com. 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com. 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com.
That's all for now. Stay alert, stay informed, and never hand your thinking over to anyone on a screen, including me. God bless you, God bless our troops, and God bless the United States of America. See you soon.
Look at it today. Is there any Muslim here? United Nations, I know you're watching it. American Senate, you are watching what I'm doing, I'm saying here. Special advisor to Trump. Now, look at it today. Tell Trump to save our life in Nigeria. Is there any Muslim here? They are killing Christians in Nigeria. United Nations, I know you're watching it. If they say American Muslims, Senate, you are watching what I'm doing, I'm saying here. By Muslims, special advisor to Trump. Now, look at it today. Tell Trump to save our life in Nigeria. Is there any Muslim here? They are killing Christians in Nigeria. United Nations.